Friends, it's David here from Southgate Imaging. So today we have a little treat. We have a 15-year-old Norman D18 cedar guitar. These things were smoking guitars back in their day. They were really well built. So a little background on these. So Norman is one of the sub-brands of Godin guitars from Quebec, Canada. So they build in Quebec, they build the Normans, they build Seagulls, they build Art and Lutherie, Simon and Patrick, La Patrie, which are classicals, and they build Godin branded guitars as well. A lot of the guitars are the same, they're coming off the same assembly lines really. They come up with different trim levels and just different trims in the line, and then there'll be a difference between, say, a Norman and a Seagull. So let's go into the differences. So the Seagull guitars, you've seen in the past, they have the pointy headstock, and they're built on the same lines as these. So other than the headstock and the rosette, really the two main differences between these. So this is basically a cousin, a very close cousin, to a Seagull S6 original cedar guitar. That's really what these things are. Godin does an amazing job with the cedar in these. They're probably my favorite guitars in the Godin lines are the cedar top. The spruce, they do a great job of spruce, but the cedar really sing. They're something else. So cedar top, rosette is a kind of a Norman corporate rosette, and with the Canadian maple leaves kind of thing. They do a nice job of it. Rosewood fingerboard, rosewood bridge. Turning around, so we're going to have wild cherry laminate back and sides, maple neck, and they're older style sealed tuners. These days they come with a little more upscale looking tuners, but they actually don't work any better with this. This is a 15-year-old guitar, and these things work absolutely fine with no issue. So this guitar has seen the test of time. Wonderful guitar. So over the years, Godin has changed a lot of their build practices. Back in the day before 2006, everything that was built had a bolt-on neck. So basically, you could use going through the sound hole, remove 2 bolts or 3 bolts, and the neck comes off. You got to do a reset. You just shim it or sand it down, whatever, and you could probably do a neck reset in 20 minutes. In 2006, what they started doing was they started using the epoxy necks, which maybe for construction practice was faster, but the neck resets are almost impossible to do. So in a sense, they were building disposable guitars. I've had good luck. I actually have owned maybe a dozen Godin type guitars, and I've never had to do a neck reset, it was even close to doing a neck reset. That being said, when you're buying these things, always look for how much saddle height you have. So if the thing has a high action and no saddle left to reduce the action, you're probably on your way to a neck reset, and you don't want to have to do that with these guitars, because it's just not, it's cost prohibitive for the value of the guitar. That being said, there's loads of these that are out there that have survived in really good shape, and this is one of them. This one in particular, 15-year-old guitar. When I go through every time I purchase a guitar, I go through the same thing. I do the paint stick, looking for belly bugs. There was none. I'm looking for fret sprout. There was none. I'm looking for action, and the action was pretty much perfect when I picked this guitar up. I mean, it all depends on your style of playing. For this is a nice, really nice general purpose setup, probably leaning towards more of a strummer. Usually fingerstyle people will, reduce the string height as much as they can. This is a pretty, in my case, this one just worked for me really good. So let's try some playing. So friends, I hope you enjoyed that. One interesting thing that I always wonder about, why they call these B18, being that an 18 has obvious reference to Martin D18, although these are cedar top. So I'm sure at one point these were probably targeted at, especially with the kind of Martin X headstock, at that market, had a D18. I would think these are a little bit warmer sounding than a D18. At the age of this guitar, these things have just blossomed and they sound very full and rich, even though it's laminated back and side. The cedar top is just very warm. The cedar for fingerstyle is just spectacular, and it will handle heavy strumming to a point. Cedar will break up to a certain point, or spruce will keep on going. But for moderate to even a little better than moderate strumming, this cedar will hold up just fine. So anyway, it's their B18. Maybe it was competing with a D18 in their mind. I have no idea. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like, subscribe. Any questions you have about the Godin products, let me know. If you own some Godin products, let me know, because these are just spectacular instruments, and I always like to hear people's ownership experiences. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.